Okay. Okay. Here, let's go
Let's
down
do
the
it. I think I
hole.
know where you're going. Let's do it.
I've heard that, okay, this is not verifiable. This is just stuff I hear. So we're just talking.
Mhm.
I can't attribute this. That the people developing H-bar are the people that are working with Space Force, like they're Space
Mhm.
Force guys.
Right.
And they claim they can transmit crypto data to Mars with no latency.
Mhm.
If they can go to Mars, it would take speed of light to Mars is a couple minutes, I think. To the
Yeah,
sun is what, 8 minutes?
I think so. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they can transmit to other planet or solar system with no latency, that must mean they have
Some kind of
some
quantum
type of
entanglement.
quantum
Hmm.
entanglement.
Yeah.
And if they're putting it space, is H bar going to be a means of commercial exchange, maybe with other life forms or other or people that are flitting about the solar system or the galaxy?
Back at it again. I am thrilled tonight from the currently snowy mountains of Pennsylvania to the warm, sunny skies in Hawaii. I have my good friend Dick Allgire joining me on the Future Forecast podcast. Dick, it's so good to see you. How are you?
It's good to see you, Dennis. I always love talking with you and hanging out with you. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii. As always, I got up and it was one of those perfect days at the beach where the water was just still, the air was still and sunny, and it was uh the ocean was just so inviting. It was great. Swam
I'm
my swim.
I'm jealous. It's snowing right now. We got
Oh
probably just about
man.
an inch, but I just got the alert. We have a 2 hour delay for school tomorrow, so that's good. I have a little bit extra time to have at the house tomorrow. But yeah, it's cold and bitter. I think on Monday it's going down to like -5 here. So
I've just been doing a intense remote viewing. I'm getting old. Well, I had a little cold and I had a friend in town, so my stamina is not. I
mhm.
used to be able to go 2 hours remote viewing. I'd sometimes like I'd go at like 5 o'clock
Yeah,
and I'd just be going and going and going and writing. And I'd come out and it'd be like 7:45. I go, man, I just went like 2.5 hours.
yeah,
And now I'm getting to where I can do like an hour or so. And then I just like, oh, I don't have the energy put into it. So I stop it. So I just did a 3 day marathon. I don't know what the target is,
right.
but I turned it in and I thought, oh, I botched that one. I have no, it's something to do with a person. I don't know who it is, but I know a lot
Right.
about it. So I turned it in and they said, great.
That's nice.
Really? Okay. So I don't get feedback till
Next week, right?
next Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
But you've always
you,
said that. So many targets are like, "Oh, this is crap," and it ends up being some of your best work.
yeah. Well,
Like the
yeah,
Napoleon one. You
that's
thought
the
you screwed
if
up the
you
Napoleon
think
one.
you know what the target is, you're going to lead yourself. You're going to go
That's
down the
so, yeah,
down
that's
the
so
imagination.
dangerous. Yeah, I try to stop now and I'm like, oh, I know what this is. I put the pen down and I walk away from it because then it's hard to break that, the imagination track there that you go on.
Your beard is looking awesome, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It looks just awesome.
Yeah, it's been, my little project here.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you, Dick. I
It
appreciate
looks
it.
great. So anyway, I can't tell you what the target was, but uh, it's like, I go, I see this little thing like, oh, this spooky little thing, and I draw that, and I go, well, why did I put that down? And then I turn in, and they go, that's great. I don't
Yeah,
know what it was though.
don't know what it
It's
is.
like, tell me more about
Yeah.
that. I said, oh man, I don't know what that was. So,
Yeah. The debrief will be fun, I'm sure, man. Those are always great discussions.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys have been cranking
The
out.
worst ones. Here's the worst ones is when I think I've called target. Like there
Right.
was one. we did some woman who I had no idea, Ursula, somebody, and she was some European Union woman.
Right.
Oh no, there was some lady that, oh, there was that one, and I thought it was somebody else. And so I thought, well, I know who this is. I'm waiting. I don't know if it's you that's giving the feedback or whoever. I'm on there and I'm just going, man, I called Target on this one. This is going to be great. And they told me who it was, and I went, oh no, what did I do? And it's just like this. Oh, I'm just so deflated, and I'm on camera
Yeah.
doing the debriefing.
Yeah.
But the data was okay. It was good data. It just wasn't
Right.
who I thought it
Just the
was.
wrong name. But you know what, Dick, and we've talked about this, and that's what I love is like with us, we get the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Like
Yeah.
we publish the data where we miss, and I think that's important. I think that's just great for those that follow future forecasting that are in it for the remote viewing. You learn so much by watching every one of your unique styles and seeing like, hey, even the experts miss and they have an off session. And we have
Yeah.
conversations about that because nobody remotes views 100% of the time. And I think it's important to see that and to see you guys as professionals go through that process sometimes I think is very helpful for everybody out there trying to learn. I know it's helped, it's given me that reassurance when I make a mistake.
Well, if a if a good session is like spaghetti stuck to the wall, I have a lot of spaghetti stuck to the wall because I throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall. I mean, I
Yeah.
just crank out data.
Yeah.
Reardon too. I mean, I just do session after session after session. And
Yeah.
the one thing you learn as a remote viewer, well, first of all, you can't care. Like you can't be
Hmm.
embarrassed. Like, okay, I believe that one. Don't care. And
Yeah.
the one nobody ever highlights a bad session. I've never seen it done. Nobody ever goes, hey, look at this remote viewer really made NASA. Look at that, they drew that. That's totally
Yeah.
off. It
Yeah.
just, if you have a bad session, it's like, okay, that happens. And you set it aside and you look at the good data. So,
Yeah. The community is for the most part so supportive. People that go through, they understand everybody has those bad sessions. It doesn't feel great when you do it, but you just keep moving and you do the next session, you know.
what I don't get is when remote viewers try to tear other remote viewers down because this is like you think, well, I can do this, but I'm the only
Right.
one. Like, you don't. No, this is
Right.
a natural communication skill, and everybody can do it. And if somebody does a good session, tip a hat, man. Good
Yeah.
job. Hey,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not like there's a limited supply of remote viewing, right? Anybody can go out and
yeah,
remote
like
view. Anybody
like
can put a video
oh,
together.
you're stealing my stuff. You're stealing my
Right.
thunder. No, if
Right.
you sit whatever method you use, if you sit down and get data that's valid to the target, good on you, and I'll
Yeah.
clap and say good job.
You
You
know,
know,
I laugh at all the arguing that goes on social media over like my style versus this style. When we watch, our company, there's so many different styles that come every week. We've got the HRVG, Jazz has got Flow, Edward's got, TRM now. And it's just a hodgepodge. Not have we ever once had a debate over like whose style is better? We've never even considered it. Everybody just brings the
well,
data and has a discussion.
I'll tell you a story. It wasn't a debate over who was better, but I used to debate Daz. Glenn and I used to have
You guys did,
knockdown
yeah.
arguments with Daz, and we're
Right.
talking 2012,
Yeah.
so 12 years ago, and we went at it is like just really flamed each other. And Daz is
Hmm.
really good at that. Daz Smith
Yeah.
can really get under your skin because he won't give an inch. Daz
Yeah.
will not give an inch in an
Yeah.
argument. He'll just come right back at you. And so we had these, and it was fun in a
Hmm.
way,
Yeah.
but it got to be, there reached a point where I did something really rude to Daz. And then because I had a brain injury, I was hurt and I did something really kind of childish. And I felt bad about it. I
Hmm.
thought, you know what? This has reached a point where I wouldn't ever do that to Daz if he was in the room.
Right.
And so I thought, You know what? I'm interested in UFOs. He's interested in UFOs. He's worked at remote viewing. I've worked at remote viewing. If I had a beer with him,
Hmm.
we'd have a great conversation. And I just
Right.
said, "Hey, Daz, let's," and we became very good friends and formed
Yeah.
a company together where when some people said, "Hey, you could remote view or do a website, people pay," I said, "I need Daz."
Yeah. Yeah.
So Daz and I are now good buddies, but it was like, just like when you're on social media, don't say something on a keyboard, not to somebody's face, that you wouldn't say to their face.
Right. I agree.
So, and I'm
I
bad.
agree.
I'm bad at that because I can be very sharp and acerbic. So I try to
Well,
not.
what I've noticed, Dick, is that you also own it too, and you're also quick to say, I shouldn't have said
My
that.
bad. Yeah,
I'm sorry about
I
that,
went over
because
the line there.
you're a human being. We all are, and you also do satire. When you're out there in the internet world. But for the most part, I mean, this group and the majority of the viewers that I meet, everybody's just so supportive of one another. And speaking of like different styles and stuff, like I was listening to some interviews with Joe McMoneagle, and I listened to Skip Atwater's recent interview, and I'm reading his book right now. Like they did their own thing, you know. They did their own approach to how they remote view and how they collect data. I mean, everybody, and Ingo had his CRV. Everybody has their own methods of gathering stuff, and all that matters is, are you getting information, and are you playing by the rules?
Let's talk about Skip for a second.
Yeah.
Skip just did that interview
Mm-hmm.
with Sean Ryan, which
Sean
was really
Ryan.
good.
Yeah.
And that was a great interview. So Skip is great. Skip came to Hawaii one time and stayed at Glenn's house. He was doing a book tour. So we said, "Come out and
Yeah.
address the Hawaii Viewers Guild. You can do a class. We'd love to hear from you. We'll put you up, take you
Mm-hmm.
out to dinner." Had a barbecue with him, the whole thing, and got along real good with him. And he was from the Stargate unit, and he didn't know, he'd never heard of Glenn's unit.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like friendly to us, but a little, I don't want to say standoffish, but cautious. And
Right.
so I was at Glenn's house with Skip, the three of us, and we're talking about remote view. And I started going into a project we're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
Skip looked at me and looked at Glenn. He said, "That's really advanced. How do you guys know that?"
Mm-hmm.
And Glenn said, "Skip, come." He said, "Dick, excuse us for a minute." And he took Skip in another room
Mm-hmm.
for like a minute. They came back out. I think what my sense of it was that Glenn told a project name to Skip,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
"Well, I was read into Magenta Cold, and Skip
Right.
only people," and that was a real name,
He
but
gave some bona fides
that's
there.
one
Yeah,
you
he
can
recognized.
talk about. So Skip was very friendly to us. So okay, back to Skip. That
Yeah.
interview with
With Sean
Sean
Ryan.
Ryan, he started giving up the ghost on the UFO stuff. I think they're being more free to talk, don't you? About the
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that is actually pushed behind the scenes with the conversations. You know what I mean?
allowed, like, okay,
Yeah.
you can talk about this now. So I did I listened to that conversation, and uh Skip was trying to explain how time is not as
Oh, yeah, that was
linear.
beautiful getting into that. Yeah.
And I said, "I can explain that too." So I did a
Yeah.
YouTube on it. I took that clip and I was editing I was editing my piece on it. And I thought, I should play this for Glenn and see what Glenn thinks
Hmm.
and see if Glenn might do a conversation with me. And just as I was thinking that, my phone rang and it was Glenn. I picked up Glenn. He goes, "Dick, do you want to send me a Zoom link?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." He
Nice.
was right on it. So I had a great conversation with Glenn, and
Yeah.
Glenn would never talk about UFOs. He just would
Right.
always change the subject. But he was commenting on Skip doing the And for those who haven't seen it, it's Sean Ryan's podcast, but Pat Price, a very good remote viewer, self-tasked 4 alien
Yeah.
bases on Earth, and then Skip tasked the Fort Meade guys, and they got similar data.
Hmm.
So, and Glenn was talking favorably of that. So, and
Yeah.
Glenn would never, it was kind of a boundary that Glenn always set for himself, and he went past that now. So
Yeah.
the point, I'm not making this point very well. I think all these military guys that well know about this shit, I think
Hmm.
they get read onto it.
I would imagine so. I mean, I don't see why at least certain units of the military wouldn't look at it if they have this capability.
Yeah,
If we have this ability called remote viewing, which it exists, obviously, we do it all the time, and the military has units, which they obviously have and probably still do. Why wouldn't you look at it, especially now that these things are
yeah.
starting to come more to light? So I'm sure there's people that have been using this and gathering information.
That Green Beret that supposedly died in the Las Vegas
Hmm.
Cybertruck bombing, in his I don't want to say manifesto, but he left a
Yeah.
note. He said, "I was read into the UAP
Right.
data." So he said uh, he had access to that. I think it's
And
going to come out. I think it's coming out really soon.
me
Don't
too. And on I do, Dick. And Sean Ryan's stuff, I mean, they looked into everything he said and they couldn't validate it, but they could corroborate a lot of the dates, a lot of locations, a lot of the times, and even like the training that he had, the training that this guy has been through, he is credible enough to talk on UAP technology or I'm sorry, on drone technology, which have been flying over my home quite regularly, by the way,
you?
since this all started. I was all freaked out by these drones. But I think we're moving towards something, Dick. I don't know what yet, but I think we're definitely going to see something soon.
What's the status of your remote viewing journey? What are you doing these days? How are you doing?
It's going great. I'm working with Daz on the Rabbit Hole
Rabbit
project
hole.
for
Yeah.
future forecasting. But speaking of which, it's really neat in just talking about Daz and remote viewing. Like I gotta, we have an active target, so I won't go too deep into it right now. But I did this session. I was like, I feel pretty good about this session, and Daz writes back to me, and he's like, "You've got target contact, but I need more data. I need more details." And he gave me all these things to explore a little bit more. And he's like, "I'm pushing you here." And at
Yeah.
first, it's humbling when it's like, all right, I hit the target, but he wants me to do more. I didn't do enough. And then I sit back and it's like, man, speaking of supportive, like Daz has always been my teacher, and he pushed me. And so I did another session. He wrote back. He's like, great job. Here's more. Now go find all this stuff. Kicking me back for more information. But I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait to find out what the first target is. Today's January 16th, so in the next week or two, we'll have it wrapped up and be coming out for next month, I'm sure.
Well, you know what the law is? The law is if you can get any valid data about a
Mhm.
target, you can get all the data about a target.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the worst I ever feel is if you miss target, that's one thing. But when you're on target
Hmm.
and you kind of stop too early, you go,
Yeah,
God, I was right on target and I could have done more and I got a little lazy.
yeah.
So that's so what's one that you've done that you could talk about?
But
What's
this
one?
was our first one with
Oh,
Rabbit
it's
Hole.
you haven't, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't
Oh,
have
okay. Well, we'll
anything.
talk about that when you get feedback.
Yeah, when we get it, we can definitely sit down and talk about it. But I'm looking forward to seeing where Daz is leading us. He always has good targets that he picks out for us. And it's not always with Daz, it's not always UFO, it's not always something that's crazy woo. A lot of times he has this verifiable stuff too. He had me looking at with Hellfire one time. I remember looking at AI. It was Lambda AI and looking at the mind of an AI machine, and that was a really cool experience seeing that. So I'll be curious to see where he takes us right now.
Ones like that are fun. They're tough to wrap your head around, but it's,
Yeah, you get these abstract concepts, as you know, looking at cryptos back in the day when you first started out
oh,
with that. You know,
we, we found a way to look at cryptos and we have cycles on cryptos. It's like, okay, try to see the logo, try to draw the
Mhm.
logo because that exists as a picture.
Right.
Try to get who's behind it. What do they look like? What are they good or bad? Try to get the people that that are invested in it, how are they going to feel
Yeah.
6 months or a year from now? And then
Hmm.
uh try to get what it does. Is it money? Is it
Right.
do contract stuff, business stuff? So it's sometimes we're more successful than others, sometimes not. You got some cryptos that are starting to wake up now?
Yeah, yeah, it's doing. I mean, I'm not a millionaire yet, but that's okay. I'm in it for the long haul. I have a couple solid altcoins that I went the
If
route
some
of.
altcoins even just today, or we're recording this on
Yeah,
16th January. So
I saw XRP was doing well. Cardano I watch very closely. So those
H
are doing
bars
pretty good.
going good.
Yeah, yeah, I saw H bars
Reardon
doing
is
really
the
well.
H bar.
He loves his H bars.
Yeah, I got into that. They just put that into space the other day.
I heard that. Yeah, that's
So it's
fascinating.
trend. Okay, okay. Here, let's go
Let's
down
do
the
it.
boo
I think I
hole.
know where you're going. Let's do it.
I've heard that. Okay, this is not verifiable. This is just stuff I hear. So we're just talking.
Mhm.
I can't attribute this. That the people developing HBAR are the people that are working with Space Force, like they're Space
Mhm.
Force guys.
Right.
And they claim they can transmit crypto data to Mars with no latency.
Mhm.
If they can go to Mars, it would take speed of light to Mars is a couple minutes, I think. To the
Yeah,
sun is what, 8 minutes?
I think so. Yeah,
So
yeah.
if they can transmit to other planet or solar system with no latency, that must mean they have
Some kind of
some
quantum
type of
entanglement.
quantum
Hmm.
entanglement.
Yeah.
And if they're putting it space, is H bar going to be a means of commercial exchange, maybe with other life forms or other or people that are flitting about the solar system or the galaxy?
So I'll take it a step further down that rabbit hole. Years ago, when I read Corso's book, The Day After Roswell, wearing my analytical hat, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, was this technology intentionally seeded here? If it's really being back engineered, if it was intentionally seeded here by a higher intelligence, could it be some kind of, I'll use Trojan horse, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a threat, but
Yeah.
it gives us the ability to create this infrastructure so then we can connect on our own in quotes with something that already exists out there, right? And then this great AI or whatever this other civilization out there is can then interact with us. Now that HBAR piece, I mean that fits my deep rabbit hole theory on that as everything's kind of merging together now.
Somebody with knowledge in the matter, as they say
Hmm.
in journalism, posed the question to me, Dick, what if blockchain distributed ledger predated humanity, predated
Hmm.
this civilization, the
Yeah.
technology? So we didn't invent it. We're just being
Hmm.
brought up to a point where it's being introduced to us. So
Yeah.
could be, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe we're going to the stars. Maybe Elon Musk is onto something and it will
Yeah.
be, they won't want to carry gold and silver
Hmm.
intergalactically for commerce. Makes sense.
It really does. When you really think, I mean, when you look at all the things that are coming out right now in terms of like AI, advanced general intelligence or artificial general intelligence, and then you've got with the UAP stuff that's coming out, even just having remote viewing so popular right now. I mean, you've got special operators who have a high-end podcast that's some of the top watch podcasts pulling on now remote viewers that's being viewed by millions of people. I mean, these are credible interviews that are happening right now. I never would have thought that basically something that used to be in like a coast to coast format is now pretty
Yeah,
much mainstream because podcasts I think, are moving towards like the new mainstream where people get their
yeah,
information. That's amazing time. So nothing would surprise me at this point.
yeah. Well, we're at the exponential uh, revelation of technology. I
Yeah.
just barely played with AI recently, starting a couple weeks ago. It's like,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
the new Twitter one, Grok, the X one. I'd
I haven't
never,
even tried that yet. Yeah.
oh man, it'll blow your mind.
Really?
You can go in there. Do you have an X account?
Uh-huh.
Just go in and on the side panel, it's XI, it's Grok, and it's free. And you can say, like, create an image of a elderly Korean lady holding kimchi. And in
Oh,
five
wow.
seconds, it renders a perfect picture, four different pictures,
Yeah.
four different women. Or I said, write a song lyric in the style of Bob Dylan about a vagabond and an outlaw on a dusty road in Wyoming. It goes boom, a Bob
That
Dylan
quick.
song, all the verses and choruses.
Yeah. I've used a few different platforms. I've done the graphics and I've done the,
Yeah.
asking for different queries. I haven't used the one on X yet, so I'll have to check that one out.
I don't know. Well, okay, I remember when I got my first computer in
Hmm.
1987,
Right.
a Mac Plus, and I stayed up all night. It had two programs, Mac Write and Mac Paint. That's all it had. There
Yeah.
was no
Yeah.
internet. You could write text,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then you could draw pictures with the mouse, like
Yeah.
really rudimentary,
I
like an
remember.
etch a sketch.
Was
And
that with the
I
green
was
screen? Did they have the green screen on
no,
that
it
on
was
those?
gray and
Was it
black.
gray? Okay.
But I was so amazed with that, and I thought, you type these words in, go up, and it disappears into the computer. It's still there.
Yeah.
And so that amazed me. So now I'm playing with AI, and I was trying to figure out, where does that reside and how does that do that? What's the process if I say, draw an elderly Korean woman
Hmm.
holding kimchi in it somewhere that I'm in Hawaii and that computer is somewhere else? It does that in like 5 seconds.
Quickly. I mean, you think back in the day when the internet first came out, you would try to download one thing, it would be an hour for one picture.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now you have some artificial intelligence that's creating the random things that you're just throwing at it almost instantly. It's fascinating.
We did a remote viewing contest, and we haven't publicized this really. I've talked about it a little bit privately, but
Mhm.
I created a random number letter ID,
Mhm.
and then I found a historical person, and I tasked that to the ID, and I put that out as a contest. I said, okay, test all the remote viewers or anybody using anything, draw this person. And somebody sent in an entry and had described and sketched the target person. And I go, how,
Mhm.
that's very good. What form of remote viewing? The guy said, well, we figured out who it was. It's a scientist who's doing artificial intelligence and quantum artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Using just the ID, it somehow figured out what the target queue was or what would match that target queue.
And AI did.
It blew our mind. It was like, okay, this is too scary. We're not gonna, we kind of just uh it was too scary for us. We dropped it. I was gonna do something on it, but we thought we need to figure out what we're dealing here first before we do it.
So they just gave the target ID to an AI.
To a
And
quantum, okay, here's the thing. If they're using a quantum computer, they're not just some guy in his garage. This is
no, if
some
they're using quad, they have access. They have,
this is
obviously,
this
yeah.
is some agency. So
Yeah.
we were dealing with somebody that just kind of like said, "Oh, silly children, here, we'll do this." And we went, "Okay, we're impressed. All right. Never mind."
Well, I mean,
I need
yeah, I
to
mean
go
that makes
back and
sense if
contact that guy. And we
yeah.
kind of we do so much as we kind of let that fall through the cracks. That was about 6 months ago.
That's a big deal. I mean, because what that shows, with an AI that's quantum connected, obviously no time and space, so it can be searching the internet of the future when you provide feedback at some point, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or your own consciousness. Who knows where it's
Yeah.
getting
I
this
mean, I'm a
information
guy
from,
that I sit down every month and I do next month's stuff and we get
right?
hits. And I still don't understand that, but this impressed me. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean
So
that.
we are definitely in interesting times. It's going to get real interesting on the when are you going to publish this?
Well, I'll kick it out to the production crew. Like I'll edit it and have it ready by the end of the weekend, and then the next week or two, they'll probably put it out. So today's
Okay,
January
so
16th.
it'll be
Of
after the 20th. I think things will
Yeah,
get real interesting on the 20th. My
Dick,
prediction.
we're in. What are you seeing? Because I wanted to talk a little bit about where we're going without trying to scare people. But what's your take on where we're going right now in the short term?
Um, we're at the end point of this civilization, and a new civilization is going to come about, and it's going to be painful, but it's going to be really interesting. Uh,
Yeah,
some of us might not make. I might not make it through. I'm old. But the next few years are going to be really interesting. Stuff's going to come fast and furious. We're definitely
yeah.
going to a new accounting financial system. The Los Angeles fires,
Hmm.
I was told, hey, this is as old as history. Rome is burning, that's
Right.
when you want to change a place, you burn it down, then you build a new place.
Yeah.
And
I heard rumors they had plans for parts of LA for the new like another smart city or something for the next Olympics.
well,
It was just a headline, so
look up Donald Trump, Liberty Cities.
okay.
There's Donald Trump has proposed 10 or 12 new Liberty cities to be
Hmm.
built from the ground up with new technology, great new
Hmm.
technology. So it may be they need to
Clear
wipe,
out the old.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Do
part of it was incompetent. Well, was it incompetence or was it meant to be? There's too many coincidences.
you know
There,
what, Dick? I don't buy it anymore. I mean, I've seen it too much just on my level, just from what I see. Like if you go back to COVID, I
yeah.
still don't understand how you've got all these emergency management agencies, and yet they didn't have a single contingency plan for any of the hospitals, for education, for infrastructure, on what to do in the event of a pandemic. Nobody had supplies. No, how do you not? I was a low-level guy in Intel, and I know to plan for different emergencies. And you
Yeah.
have agencies that's your function, and you don't have
Yeah.
anything prepared. So I really have to question that.
Well, in the Los Angeles fire, they uh, the weather service and they put out an alert like this is high fire danger. There's going to be
Yeah,
fires.
I
Santa
remember
Ana
that.
winds
Yeah.
are coming and things are dry. And
Hmm.
the fire chief has said if they would have given us money in the budget, we could have bought a bunch of used trucks. We could have firefighters in
Yeah.
neighborhoods ready, and when they flare
Ready
up,
to
douse
go.
them. And
Yeah.
the reservoir, that repair would have taken a few weeks or a month. The reservoir was
Right.
down for a year. They
Yeah.
just drained the reservoir.
It's just
So
odd timing.
seems like that was allowed to happen, or
Yeah.
very, very incompetent, or both.
Yeah. The
And
neglect and just
it's,
letting things fall apart.
I have the special source who you well know, and there
Hmm.
was that Paradise Fire in California
Hmm.
years ago, and my source told me, Dick, you see what happens is when they have a fire like that, they move the people off the land, and then the insurance companies say, well, we can't
Yeah.
afford to insure that area, so the people can't rebuild, so somebody else takes over the land. He said there'll be more fires like this. Then we had Lahaina, and he said, "See,
Hmm.
Dick, I told you," and then
Yeah.
there will be more. And then there's
Yeah.
this one, and so uh,
Yeah. It's scary. I mean, I think we're as we've been saying for years, with crypto viewing and now future forecasting, I mean, infrastructures, are trusted organizations are we're losing faith in them. They're falling apart, making way for the new ones. It has me scared. I was listening to Sean Ryan again, and he has a CIA targeter. She's on, I forget her name, and they were talking about the amount of terrorists that are here in the U.S. right now,
Hmm.
and that they're planning an attack here in the U.S. And I'm really not trying to scare anybody. This is me trying to process it. I just listened to it today, and it's triggering for me because I worked as you know in counter intel, and when I came home back in 2002 is when I got home, and I had a really hard time because I kept saying it's so easy for these guys knowing how they operate to do attacks here. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's coming. I've gotten a lot of trouble with my personal relationships because I was just so anxious and always on alert all
Yeah.
the time. And now hearing this woman talk to Sean Ryan, he's an ex-Navy SEAL, she's CIA, saying the same things that I was saying 20 years ago, it scares the hell out of me. It's
Yeah.
hard to
I heard that
process.
I heard the Chinese already have the malware in our computer systems for our
Yeah.
infrastructure,
I don't
water
I don't
and
doubt it. Yeah.
electric. They
Yeah. I mean,
could
Snowden
flip the
was talking
switch.
about that years ago. Yeah. They have everything. Our phones, they can shut us down.
Keep your family close and have some
Yeah.
extra food on hand, and hopefully our new president will do some things to mitigate that and
Yeah.
take
Do we
do it
have
better.
do we have RV data, that points to any of that right now that you can think of? I know we have so much data out there. I can't even keep it all straight in my head, but
When the Los Angeles thing hit, I looked at my monthly events and I said, "Oh yeah, I had a big emergency and I had
hmm
uh, some fire." And then I thought, man, didn't we do Los Angeles a few years ago? In 2020, we did Los Angeles.
yeah,
You probably debriefed that
I
one.
did. I do. I remember that. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I drew Los Angeles like the buildings and then all burned out and rubble around there. But we also had data on earthquake, tsunami.
hmm
So that
Yeah.
may be coming. I think 2025 is going to be a year of extreme weather events.
hmm
I think it's going to be a year of more fires, earthquakes, tsunamis, uh, snowstorms, mudslides, all of the
hmm
above. I think one that we had, this is a really interesting one, and it's probably just published on future forecasting remote viewing. We looked at XRP as a blind target. So we're given a blind crypto target, and I'm doing my thing. I get the target ID, I close my eyes, and I see the X. I go, man, X. We did XRP like 5 months ago. It can't be that. But I do the X and I
Right.
probing and I go, this thing is international money exchange for banks. And then God, still thinking about XRP. So, and then I'm looking at the chart and I see the chart and I see this hole in it, like glowing orange, like there's a discontinuity where it's gapping
hmm
up and down and doing weird things. It's not available. So I put that out and I turn it in and we get the feedback. They go debrief. Your target was XRP. And I go, wow, I called target and
Wow.
I had good data. So I said, there's this discontinuity.
hmm
And so we brought Marty on and Marty went, well, that's really interesting. That if there's a big financial thing that it could go offline and there'd be gaps and what I described could happen. And
Yeah.
so, all right, debrief that, we publish it. Now they give us another target, blind target. And I know it's financial, but not crypto. So I'm looking and I see XRP logo again. I drew the XRP logo. I go, geez, I got to get this out of my mind. We just did XRP a month ago,
Right.
not XRP. So then I get like, uh, what I get next? I got like men in a meeting and I got like a hearing and I got a lot of data about, oh, I said there's bonds, paper. There's paper that goes bad. It was like there's derivatives, like there's not enough money to cover what the paper represents. So that was the theme of my session. So it was like a
Mhm.
systemic financial problem that's
Right.
systemic. And so I get done with that and we get for the debrief and I'm sitting there, go, I don't know what this is. And they go, your target was, they had taken my chart with the discontinuity and they tasked that. And all the viewers described the same data
Yeah.
of a systemic discontinuity due to like paper derivatives. So
Wow.
we think that's probably coming.
So
Well,
let me ask you this just to dive into that the way that was tasked. Um, is there a chance that, the off chance that that aspect of your session was incorrect and everybody's just viewing on that projection that you had, or do you feel pretty solid with this data because of all the corroboration and specifics that came back?
they all seem to get real stuff.
Yeah.
So that has been done. You can task off
Hmm.
a remote. That's an interesting concept. A remote viewer draws something like let's say I draw that, some
Hmm.
guy reading a book. I don't want to show too much of that because it's still an active target, but
Right.
and then they could take that and publish that as target. The guy that
Right.
drew with the book, remote view that. I
Yeah.
think the other remote viewers might be a little like, oh, you gave me that. Like that's kind of underhanded, but it can be done. And that's
Yeah.
essentially what they did. But they came up with really strong corroborated. You would think it was off, they'd be all over the place.
Right. No, I
They all
agree. Yeah.
focused in and we all had identical data. So
Yeah, they'd be all over the place, or they'd be out. What we've seen even with this team is when we have a task and where there's not much to it, you guys go out and you find whatever's brightest, whatever's most interesting, and you bring it
yeah.
back.
No,
Which
they
is
got
work.
they got data that was congruent to the what they thought.
Yeah, was coming.
Well, you know, nobody really fully understands this, and we're
Yeah.
doing it's a bunch of grand experiments. We're having big
Hmm.
fun with it. So
Yeah, we've had a lot of different approaches to how we're tasking and how we're compartmentalizing and what we're doing. And I'm thinking back to all this, coming back to the old days, probably around 2019 or 20 when we used to do the geo targets. I think it was your data point. It was you or Edward. And it was basically, I don't know if this was our famous or infamous death of the dollar target. It was something along those lines. And the session ended where it was like, in the end, China steps in and we don't even resist because everybody is so defeated. They're so exhausted and they more just step in and we accept them because they can help whatever's
I
going
think
on. You
that was
remember that?
Edward Reardon's session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
always stuck with me.
I think that maybe my mentor tells me, human beings, they won't change unless they experience enough pain.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's a motivator for human beings. So um yeah, it's something's got to give. The US government has got to be cut one
Hmm.
way or the other.
Yeah.
It's spending too much money. We can't keep making money out of thin air.
No.
And that may be why Trump was brought in with Musk and Vivek, because they gotta take the machete to
Trump's a
start the fight.
businessman. That's what he does. That's his area of expertise is business and he's dealt with how many bankruptcies for major companies and going through all that process.
Yeah. Well, my
Yeah.
source that got me going with all this, the,
Hmm.
the I asked him in 2017, probably 2018.
Hmm.
So what's up with Trump? And he said, well, Trump's a businessman. Trump is going to be in power. He's brought in to oversee the bankruptcy of the United States.
Yeah.
I went,
Yeah. There
okay,
you go.
that makes sense. So
Hmm.
2020 comes, Trump's out. I said to my guy, Trump's out. he didn't oversee the bankruptcy of the United States. And my source said, just wait, not
Yeah.
over yet.
Yeah.
Just
There
wait,
it
see what
is.
happens. So now he's back. So I think he's there to oversee the bankruptcy. It's a what I'm told is the financial system that emerged from World War II, the Bretton Woods, the
Hmm.
dollar, was meant to have a lifespan, and its lifespan is up. So we got to
Yeah.
go. Here's one. I did a YouTube on this. I don't know if you saw it, but maybe some of the people listening didn't. At the end of World War II, the dollar was strong because the US had the military might. We had all the
Hmm.
ships. We'd won World War II. We had all the guns, all the ships, all the fighter, all the airplanes, the atomic bomb. So you guys are all going to use the dollar. Dollar's going to be king because we got the military might.
Hmm.
We also had gold. They used gold to back the dollar because we got all the gold, all the Nazi gold. We got that at the end of World War II. And the Japanese gold, Yamashita's gold. Have you ever read that book, Yamashita's Gold? That's a good.
No, I haven't. No.
The Japanese looted a lot of China, looted Korea, looted Malaysia, looted the British East Indies. And the Japanese had all this gold, and they stored a lot of it in caves in the Philippines. And at the end of World War II, there was we secretly got it. And so the US had all the bombs and all the military, and then we had all the gold. And then we took the dollar off the gold reserve in the
Hmm.
1971. So they were backing gold with oil. They said to the world,
Hmm.
we got made a deal with Saudi Arabia. It's like, okay,
Right.
you're going to use dollars to trade oil. And that
Yeah.
let the Federal Reserve make fake dollars, and the world had to use them. So it spread out the inflation around the world.
Hmm.
And it gave the
Hmm.
US a high standard of living. That's coming to an end. So now what it might be is Trump has said he might have a uh, Bitcoin depository where the US stores Bitcoin as a store value, and
Wow.
it'll back our financial system. If that's true, you'll want to have a sliver of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that'll go phew, exponentially.
I was told Bitcoin's going to be the store of value for
I remember
settlement
those
between
conversations.
nations. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when that
Yeah.
happens, all the other ones go up, all the little ones that we have. So we're
Yeah.
gonna
Everything's gonna go. Yeah.
I can't wait to see you go, wow, this one I bought for pennies just went 100x. Dick,
Yeah. That's what I'm waiting
house
for. It's
for,
just a
I
I'm
just
in it
bought a
for the
house
long
for my
haul.
family. That's what I'm
Yeah.
waiting to hear, Dennis.
I'll pay off my house. We're in a new home now, but I'll pay it off. It'll be nice.
Good. I see
Yeah.
some drywall behind you.
So I built a shed out back that I've insulated. I ran electricity with my father-in-law. It's a studio. I still gotta, spackle and I gotta paint, I won't probably do till the summer now, but it's heated and everything. So I'm sitting out here in a shed, my little studio that I've built that I'm gradually finishing. But it's just a 10 by 12 space. It's awesome. I love it. And
You
I
need to
overlook
paint,
the
like get some like nice painting behind you, put up some
Yeah,
pictures.
I'm gonna have a nice backdrop eventually, but right now I look like I'm in a bunker or a bomb shelter underground somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
look forward to seeing what you do with Daz on Rabbit Hole. That'll
yeah,
be
me
good.
too, Dick.
You got some talented women working with you there too, right?
Yeah, I've worked with all of them through the Hellfire and with other projects, random projects with Daz, and they bring such a richness to the remote viewing sessions and seeing what they do. They're very, very talented remote viewers, insightful too. And I've had Coral on the podcast. I love listening to her insights and her journey and the things that she shares. Very knowledgeable woman too. So they're great additions to the team.
Well, okay. I got to go make dinner, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, you enjoy, Dick. It's always a pleasure having you on. So much going on, so I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll see where this journey leads us.
It's it's been an amazing journey. I'm glad you've been a part of it. I'm so glad to work with you. You're always good, and we'll look
I
forward to
appreciate
keep
it.
your remote viewing going and get a nice picture on your wall and watch one of your cryptos go 100x. You go, God, I paid off the house. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry. That'll be
Yeah.
so cool for you.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. I mean, this has been the opportunity of a lifetime. But it's beyond that. Just the friendships, that means the world to me with you and the rest of the
We
team. It's
might
been
go to the
amazing.
Bitcoin conference in Vegas in the
Oh,
spring.
nice. Yeah, that'd be great.
Maybe we had a ball with you at
Yeah, right before COVID with the Litecoin conference.
the Litecoin conference. That was
Yeah.
big fun.
Yeah, that was a
You
lot of fun.
We never made it into the conference. We were talking with so many people out in the hallway. We
I
just got into
remember
great
that.
conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good fun. We need to do it again.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be great to connect with the team because it's always through Zoom. So if we could all meet
S-
up, that'd be wonderful.
Stay warm.
Thanks, Dick. Enjoy your sunshine, buddy.
I will. Aloha, Dennis.
All
Catch
right,
up
friends. On
again.
behalf of Dick and the Future Forecasting Group, where you can find us at futureforecasting.com. Dennis Snappy the second. Thanks for watching.
Aloha.